Thousands of investors are on the edge of their seats, awaiting a study that could either make them billions or shatter their dreams in an instant. What connects them all is a shared vision, one that was masterfully woven by a man named Vivek Ramaswamy.
I actually think the potential opportunity here is really tremendous for delivering value. We believe we're only one additional phase 3 study away from the approval of this drug on a global basis.
And how long?
At the age of 29, Vivek acquires the rights to a potential Alzheimer's solution for just $5 million and turns it into a billion-dollar company.
My friend, and at the time it was actually my biggest investor, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's now running for president. He basically took our business model and supersized it.
Yet, as they nervously refresh clinicaltrials.gov, the collective excitement evaporates. The miracle drug they have invested their hopes and fortunes in has spectacularly failed. The stock will go on to lose over 99% of its once $2.8 billion valuation. But as the dust settles, it turns out that Vivek is not only shielded from the disaster, but actually emerges victorious. Thanks to a cleverly structured company, Vivek orchestrated a transformation that sees him ascend to the ranks of billionaires. Fast forward to 2023, and Vivek has set his sights on the ultimate power grab.
I'm Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm a successful entrepreneur. I've built multi-billion-dollar companies, and now I'm running for president of the United States.
And thanks to his unconventional genius strategy that might just be out of the social media playbook of Andrew Tate, he's quite successful at it.
And look, he's winning. He's winning. He is better than those people.
Apart from Trump, he already passed every other Republican candidate. Yet no matter how the election actually turns out, Vivek already won in a far smarter way that no one seems to notice. But how did he make a fortune while his investors lost all their savings? How did he actually become a billionaire? And is Vivek Ramaswamy the visionary leader America craves? Or a master manipulator that cannot be trusted? Vivek Ramaswamy's remarkable journey begins in 1985 in Ohio, where he is born into a family of first-generation Indian immigrants. As with many of the personalities that we display on this channel, his upbringing and parents play a formative role. His father is an engineer and patent attorney. His mother works as a psychiatrist, a profession that will put her later into a deeply controversial role in her son's life. Both parents deeply believe that as their firstborn son, Vivek is destined for greatness and will go on to outperform the average mediocre Joe. And Vivek starts outperforming indeed. In his youth, he becomes an accomplished pianist, a nationally ranked tennis player, and also excels in school. As he graduates high school as valedictorian, he lays the groundwork for the next chapter in his life. A chapter completed by many other people that we have portrayed on this channel, and one that promises outstanding achievements. In 2003, he joins Harvard University. Here he begins to make a name for himself. He starts performing as his alter ego, the Vivek, on campus and is also engaged politically. When students want to raise the wages of campus janitors to more than the rules of supply and demand would require, Vivek criticizes them for having linked the human worth of the janitors to their paychecks. While becoming president of the Harvard Political Union, Vivek also ventures into entrepreneurship for the first time. He co-founds a company aimed to connect student businesses and investors, which is later sold to a private charity for an undisclosed sum. While we don't know how much he makes from the sale, Vivek certainly is hungry for more. Before he graduates summa cum laude with a bachelor's degree in biology, he interns at Goldman Sachs and Amaranth Advisors, another hedge fund. On his first day, the fund's founder clarifies the hedge fund's purpose to the summer interns: to turn a pile of money into an even bigger pile of money. Something Vivek would soon find out he is very good at, with his very own secret playbook that we will examine in a bit. And as we all know on this channel, money makes the world go round. That's also true in the media business, and it's hard to know who funds a news source, how legitimate they are, and what their hidden agenda is. If you too recognize this problem, I'd like to introduce you to Ground News, who kindly sponsored this video, bringing together thousands of articles from around the world. This platform empowers us to compare news coverage and gain insights into key aspects, such as political affiliations, ownership, and factual accuracy. Let's illustrate this with a focus on Vivek Ramaswamy. On the website, we can see that nearly 300 articles have been published about the first Republican presidential primary debate. Now we can see what different sources reported on. While the left focused on legal difficulties of Trump, the center highlighted the internal dynamics between DeSantis, Nikki Haley, and Vivek. The right, however, focused extensively on Vivek, especially on how he raised almost $500,000 in 1 hour due to his special funding strategy, which we will also discuss later. What's cool is how you can conveniently skim through all these headlines in one place, allowing you to gain a clear perspective on how the media shapes public opinion. The blind spot feed will also show you stories that are disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum. This tool is especially valuable when it comes to political topics like a presidential candidate, but it's equally essential for other subjects like economics. As you know, reporting on economic data and their causes can be biased depending on the funding sources and political leanings of media outlets. This is where Ground News helps you become a smarter consumer of news. Stay current and informed for less than $1 per month for their Pro plan, or about $5 per month for unlimited access to important features such as the blind spot feed using their Black Friday sale and my link in the description. After graduating, Vivek starts working as a biotech stock analyst at the hedge fund QVT. In 2008, just 1 year after he joined the firm, he places a legendary trade. Vivek buys shares of Pharma Asset, a pharma company with a very creative name, for $5 a share. When the company is eventually acquired for $137 a share, he is among the biggest shareholders and makes a fortune. And it is not just luck. Vivek will go on and repeat these kinds of performances multiple times, resulting in him making partner at age 28. Despite already being a millionaire and working a very demanding and prestigious job, he seizes an opportunity to further his education. He utilizes a scholarship from the Paul and Daisy Soros Fellowship for New Americans to pursue a law degree at Yale University. Even though no one turns down free money, Vivek will later try to pay someone to delete this detail on his Wikipedia page. He doesn't want to be associated with the billionaire and Democratic mega donor George Soros, who, by the way, we also made a documentary about. Little did he know at the time, he too would very soon ascend into the leagues of the mega rich.
The way you make it big time, not small time, big time in American capitalism, is you have to find an opportunity that others don't and be right about it.
After making partner and essentially completing the finance side quest, Vivek decides to leave the firm. Armed with a legendary track record and a $100 million investment from his former employer, he embarks on a new venture. Incorporated in the tax haven of Bermuda, his new company Roivant Sciences is born. While it might sound like it, this company isn't named after a pharmaceutical drug. Instead, it is named after a promise, the promise of getting rich. The ROI in Roivant stands for return on investment. And according to Vivek, This will be the highest return on investment endeavor ever taken up in the pharmaceutical industry. A bold claim that would soon be tested. His strategy?
And my entire business model was built on developing drugs in areas that Big Pharma had abandoned. And better yet, to even get a head start, if they had done some preliminary research on it but put it on the shelf, could we find the winners, like a Moneyball type equation?
It is a bet on the potential hidden gems discarded by larger players in the industry. One of those first potential gems involves a drug for Alzheimer's disease. There's no effective treatment for the disease, and drug companies have sunk billions into research. So the opportunity is enormous. But this is also where the controversies start. Roivant Sciences, a subsidiary of Roivant, acquires the rights to a drug for just $5 million US. Pocket change in the pharmaceutical world. In 2015, Roivant goes public in the biggest biotech IPO ever. On the first day of trading, the stock nearly doubles, and suddenly a company that didn't even exist 8 months prior is worth nearly $3 billion. To put this into perspective, Roivant has less than 10 employees at the time, with one of them being Vivek's own mother. You see, Roivant doesn't actually conduct new studies at that point. Instead, they just reinterpret existing ones. Or more specifically, Vivek's mother does. Although this is all publicly disclosed and in no way illegal, it surely is a conflict of interest. Why don't investors get suspicious? How can this company be so valuable? Well, let's just say Vivek is pretty good at selling.
We believe we're only one additional phase 3 study away from the approval of this drug.
Awaiting imminent patent approval.
The drug actually demonstrated statistically significant improvements in both cognition and in function
that have both huge military and civilian applications.
The potential opportunity here is really tremendous for delivering value.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we're going to be, we following the situation.
America's top billionaires selling over $9 billion worth of stock.
Surging stock prices, rates are rising, and tech stocks have crashed.
Sounds like your typical pump and dump, right? But it is important to note that despite all of this very sus behavior, Vivek doesn't ever sell his stake in Roivant. Instead, he uses his golden ticket in a far smarter way. You see, Vivek doesn't even directly own Roivant. He only owns the holding company, Roivant, which then owns Roivant. He uses this opportunity to raise capital for Roivant, including more than $1.1 billion from SoftBank to invest into other projects, all while slowly diluting the stake in Roivant down to just 25%. That way, when the new trial of Roivant's wonder drug ultimately fails and the stock crashes, Ramaswamy already cashed out without ever selling a single share of Roivant. Until today, Roivant has lost more than 99% of its value and even changed their name to Cyogene Therapies, maybe also in an effort to conceal their disappointing past. The parent company Roivant, however, is mostly unfazed by this and in fact continues to prosper. In 2020, for example, the company receives $3 billion from a Japanese pharma giant in exchange for the rights to 5 of their drugs. With money like that, Ramaswamy can afford to put some unusual business practices to test, like this one for employee retention. Most of you are probably familiar with the concept of golden handcuffs, or simply put, earning too much money to make it very difficult to quit. I was experiencing the same when I was doing M&A and strategy consulting, and I learned that building something on the side helps you get out a little bit easier. At Roivant, however, there are golden parachutes. 2 months after joining the company, each employee is offered a substantial amount of money if they quit right then and there. This, of course, leaves only the very committed professionals at the company. Another thing Vivek does differently is placing the right incentives.
Big Pharma makes money from their blockbuster drugs. You know who doesn't? The scientists who actually discovered those drugs. My first company was built on the idea that those scientists should be able to get uncapped upside, make an unlimited amount of money,
from the drugs they actually contributed to developing.
Also within seemingly unlimited amount of money, Vivek eventually steps down as CEO in 2021 and focuses on something that at that point might look like a waste of his time. He writes a book called Woke Inc., in which he criticizes corporate America's social justice programs and wokeness. Sounds kind of boring, but Vivek would soon leverage the success of his book to launch an asset management firm called Strive, whose main selling point is anti-woke and anti-ESG investing. It is backed by prominent billionaire investors such as Peter Thiel and Bill Ackman, and is the antithesis to giants like BlackRock who embrace ESG standards. But after becoming a billionaire himself and essentially winning the game of capitalism, Vivek realized that money isn't the only important thing in life for him. He also wants power.
An entrepreneur turned political newcomer and on the rise in the GOP presidential field.
This is the American Revolution. This is 1776.
He's just 37 years old.
If you watched the first Republican presidential debate this week, there's no doubt you took note of the young, brash candidate with a big smile at the center of the stage, 38-year-old Vivek Ramaswamy.
He has a genius political strategy and an even better one for his funding. Let's start with his political approach. Despite little political experience, Vivek is charging through the polls. As of recently, he is second only to Trump, and although he is running against him, Vivek sounds like his biggest supporter.
I think Trump was an excellent president, and I share that in common with Trump.
This is my commitment, if I'm elected the next U.S. president, to pardon Donald J. Trump.
Well, look, I did say he's the best president of the 21st century.
But it makes sense. If Trump should drop out of the race for whatever reason, we all know who his supporters will vote for instead. And even if he doesn't, Trump already hinted at Vivek possibly being his running mate and vice president.
Ramaswamy is leading most of our candidates. And you know why? Because he says Trump is one of the greatest presidents in the history of our country. And I said, I like that guy.
Either way, Vivek will come out on top. In a way, he won already. During his run for presidency, Vivek takes every opportunity to cross-promote his asset management firm Strive. Now, just 1 year after its inception, it already manages north of $1 billion, a milestone that took JP Morgan, for example, twice as long when they launched their ETFs in 2014. Vivek also has a special funding strategy for his presidential run, one that might be inspired by the success of Andrew Tate and, like him, promises to make you rich.
Where you help me raise the money, you get a unique link to do it. We'll have a special relationship, but the money you raise, you get to keep 10% of it.
It is a strategy that has already served him very well during his pharma days, setting the right incentives. But before you start editing Ramaswamy clips with Subway surfers and post them on TikTok to push your affiliate link, you might want to know a thing or two about his political stances. These are 10 absolute truths he believes. Among the things he tries to hide and change facts around the most is his connection to Soros. To learn more about the mysterious billionaire that Vivek wanted to remove from his Wikipedia page, click here to check out our George Soros documentary.